Have you ever wondered what a single day actually felt like back in 1898? I'm not talking about the big historical events, no. I mean the small, quiet moments of a regular family. Well, we're about to step back in time and find out. So let's do this. You know, it's so easy to look back and romanticize the past, but what was it really like? I mean, think about it. No electricity, no cars, not even a simple washing machine. We're going to step right into that world, feel the grit, the joy, and the relentless rhythm of life for one family at the turn of the 20th century. Okay, so our journey starts in Leominster, Massachusetts. It's a bustling factory town, and we're headed to one specific address, 17 Summer Street. This is where we meet the Richmonds. Their story, it's like this precious snapshot of a world that's long, long gone, but you can still kind of feel the echoes of it today. All right, so let's meet the family. You got the parents, Thomas and Juliet, both 50. Now look at the kids. You can see this clear dividing line, right? The older ones, they're already out there working, bringing money home. But the two youngest, Bessie and James, they're still in school. And let me tell you, that was a huge deal back then, a massive investment in their future. And get this. 1898 is a really special year for them. It's Thomas and Juliet's 30th wedding anniversary. I mean, 30 years. 30 years of building a life, raising a family, getting through all the tough times, and celebrating the good ones. So yeah, this isn't just any old year we're looking at. It's a real milestone. So, what was the rhythm of their day to day? Well, for the Richmonds, and honestly for millions of families like them, it wasn't the sun that ran their lives. Nope, it was the factory whistle. That sound dictated everything. From dawn till dusk, the mills set the pace for absolutely everyone. So, picture this. The day starts in total darkness, way before 5 a.m. That's when Thomas gets up. As an overseer, he had a pretty respected position. He was a skilled manager in the wool carding room. But just try to imagine the roar of those machines, the air just thick with humidity and wool fibers, and that constant pressure to keep everything and everyone running smoothly. But here's the thing, his wages alone, they just weren't enough to support a family of 8. No way. So survival was a total team effort. The older kids had to head out into that pre-dawn chill right along with him. And just look at the different kinds of work they're all doing. You've got Grace with her steady, if probably super tedious, factory job. Then there's Charles, a skilled painter, but his work totally depends on the season and the weather. And then, wow, you have 15-year-old Edwin doing absolutely backbreaking labor as a laundryman. It's such a fascinating look at the different paths and the different hardships facing working-class kids back then. So while half the family is out in this loud industrial world, there's this whole other economy running back at 17 Summer Street. And believe me, it was just as demanding. This was the world of Juliet and her 19-year-old daughter, Emily. Okay, seriously, think about your own laundry routine for a second. You just toss it in a machine, right? Now look at this. For them, this wasn't just some chore. It was a full day of absolutely grueling physical labor. Hauling buckets of water, heating it on a coal stove, scrubbing everything on a washboard, wringing it all out by hand, and then hanging it to dry. And remember, that's just one part of keeping a household of 8 people going. But in the middle of all this hard physical labor, there was this amazing glimmer of hope for the next generation. Because Thomas was an overseer, the family could actually afford a huge luxury, keeping the two youngest, Bessie and James, in school. I mean, every single day they were in a classroom was a day they weren't out earning wages, so it was a real sacrifice. But it was a sacrifice the family was absolutely willing to make for their kids' future. So, after these long, long days of hard labor, the whole family would finally come back together. Their main meal was in the evening, and afterwards the parlor became the center of their entire world. This is really where the Richmonds reconnected with each other. And you know what? Music was the glue that held them all together. It was so much more than a hobby. It was their shared passion. Thomas used to be a choir director, so the whole family was musical. Just imagine them all gathered around the piano, their voices filling that small house. In a world that was all about hard, repetitive labor, this was their escape. This was their moment of pure, simple joy. I mean, you can almost hear this scene, can't you? The sound of the piano and everyone singing, filling the parlor. You've got young James hunched over his homework by the flicker of an oil lamp, and then there's Edwin reading the newspaper out loud, bringing news of the Spanish-American War right into their little home. It's just such a powerful image, right? This quiet, intimate family world brushing right up against the big, turbulent world outside. Of course, life wasn't just the same day on repeat.
it was shaped by these much larger rhythms, the rhythm of the week and the rhythm of the changing New England seasons. And the absolute anchor of their week was Sunday. And this wasn't just a day of rest. For the Richmonds, their church was the center of their entire universe. It was their social hub, their spiritual refuge, and for a family of musicians, it was basically their main stage. It was the place they truly felt they belonged.
So, when you put it all on a scale, what does their life look like? Well, on one side, you have these immense hardships. Budgets were incredibly tight, there was the constant risk of getting sick, and the work was just physically draining. But on the other side of the scale, the joys were just as real. The warmth of a family meal, the beauty of their music, the strength they got from their community, and that incredible pride in seeing their children have a shot at a better life.
When it comes down to it, what we've seen is just a snapshot, right? It's like a single frame from the long, long movie of one family's life. So what's the lasting impression we should take away from this? I think the really powerful truth here is that the Richmonds, they weren't famous. They weren't what you'd call history makers in the grand sense. They were just an ordinary family, working hard, loving each other, and just getting by. And it's right there in that very ordinariness that their story becomes so incredibly moving, because it represents the lives of millions of people who built the world we live in today just with their quiet dignity and their resilience. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When future historians look back at our lives 100 years from now, what are they going to find? What are the ordinary, everyday moments from our lives that will end up telling the most powerful stories about our time? It's something to think about. Thanks for stepping back in time with me on this one.